was used to make this production.
I shouldn't have gone into the Knysna forests. Most people think forests are quiet. They're not. They just wait. And if you stay long enough, you would start to feel it. Like something is listening. I didn't believe that before I went into the Knysna forest. I do now, however. I'm not going to pretend I was innocent. We didn't go there to hike. We went there to take something. So my name is Michael Burr, and 3 months ago I flew from Montana to South Africa with two friends, Eben Kruger and Dylan Cross. Eben was the reason we chose that forest. He was born in South Africa, even though he grew up in the States. He said he knew how to move through terrain like that. He said we'd be fine. Dylan didn't care about any of those details. All he cared about was the money we are going to make. And me? I told myself it was an opportunity. So the first day in the Knysna forest felt, well, normal. Too normal, just sunlight cut through the canopy in these perfect beams. Birds calling overhead, it felt untouched, peaceful. By the second day, the trails started fading. By the third, they were gone completely. We were pushing through thick undergrowth, following Eben as he cut paths where there weren't any before. That's when I noticed something was off. At first I thought I was imagining it. But the longer we walked, the clearer it became. No buzzing, no mosquitoes, no flies, no beetles, no birds, nothing. I mentioned it. Dylan shrugged. Eben didn't say anything, but I could tell he noticed it too. That night, something woke me up. I opened my eyes and immediately knew something was wrong. The forest had gone completely silent again. No wind, no leaves moving, nothing. I lay there staring in the darkness beyond the trees and felt this pressure, like the air itself had weight. And I had this overwhelming feeling that something was out there. Something was watching us. I couldn't sleep at all that whole night again. The next morning, we found the mushrooms. And I mean we found them. This is the gold we were hunting. Native psilocybin grown in African soil, naturally occurring and indigenous to this area of the planet. They weren't growing in scattered patches like you'd expect. It was like a field. Clusters everywhere, thick, dense, growing between the roots of enormous trees like they'd been planted. Dylan laughed the second he saw them. Jackpot! I didn't move. Something about it felt wrong. This doesn't look natural, I said. Even crouched down inspecting one. It isn't. Not like this. Dylan was already pulling out the duffel bag. Then don't pick them, he said. More for me. That's when we heard it. I don't know how to describe that sound properly. It wasn't a roar, it wasn't a scream, it wasn't a yell. It started low, like something dragging across hollow wood. And then it broke into this wet, choking shriek that echoed through the trees. Every instinct in my body told me the same thing at once. That is not something you want to hear twice. What was that? I whispered. Eben stood up slowly. We shouldn't be here. Dylan didn't even look up. Relax, it's probably some animal. Then it came again, closer. And this time, it sounded like more than one voice trying to come out at once. That's when the feeling started. The one you can't explain. The one that crawls up the back of your neck and doesn't go away. We weren't alone. Branches shifted behind us. Leaves crunched where no one was standing. At one point, I swear I saw something move between the trees. Too tall, too fast, so I ignored it as an optical illusion. Eben finally said it. There's something tracking us. Dylan laughed. But it didn't sound real this time. "Good, let it watch," he said. It was already half full. We haven't even been here for 5 minutes. Something hit the ground behind us hard. We all turned. Nothing. Just leaves and disturbed dirt. Then the smell hit me. Rot. Not normal decay. Something deeper, older, wrong, rancid. Eben grabbed his pack. "We're leaving." Dylan shook his head. "I'm not walking away from this loot. Give me 5 more minutes." Eben hesitated. That hesitation cost us everything. I stayed with Dylan. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't want to admit Eben was right. Maybe I just didn't want to leave the money behind. Eben moved ahead, scouting a way out, and then everything changed. The forest didn't move, it didn't shake, but something shifted, like the atmosphere itself snapped. And suddenly, it was right behind us. I turned, and I saw it. Not clearly, not fully, but enough. It didn't look like anything I could name. Its body was wrong, too long, too uneven. Its limbs bent in ways that didn't make sense. Like they weren't built for walking, but they were. Parts of it looked like bark. Parts of it looked like flesh. And its face, there wasn't really a face, just an impression of one. Hollow, watching. I couldn't move. I couldn't even breathe. Dylan didn't get that chance. Something dropped from above, fast, silent. It wrapped around him and pulled. He screamed once, just once, and then he was gone. Dragged up into the canopy so fast it didn't feel real, like he'd just been erased. I ran. I didn't think, didn't shout. I just ran. Branches tore my arms. Roots caught my feet. I hit the ground more than once, but I kept going. I found Eben ahead. I don't even remember reaching him. "Dylan's gone," I said. He didn't ask how. He already knew. "We need to drop the bag." I looked down. I was still holding it. Still carrying everything we'd taken. My hands were shaking. Eben grabbed it from me and threw it into the trees. Now we run. We didn't get far. It stepped out in front of us. Not hiding anymore, just watching, standing, waiting. It was taller than I thought. Its body looked like it had grown out of the forest itself. Wood, moss, something like muscle underneath. "What is that?" I asked. Eben didn't take his eyes off it. "It's an Otang," he said. I didn't understand. "My grandmother used to talk about it," he said quietly. "Said it protects the forest, the old places." The thing tilted its head, like it was listening. Eben swallowed. "It's not about the mushrooms," he said. "It's about what they grow from." We found the trees soon after, or maybe it wanted us to find it. The forest opened up into a clearing that shouldn't have been there, and in the center was the biggest tree I've ever seen. It didn't look right. The trunk was too wide. The bark seemed to be moving, subtly, like something breathing underneath it. Its roots spread across the ground in thick, twisting patterns, but they didn't look like roots. They looked like hands, reaching. The ground shifted beneath us and the roots moved. Not growing, reaching. Eben turned to me. "Don't run." "What?" I asked. "Don't run." The thing stepped into the clearing behind us, slow, deliberate, and patient. Eben did something I'll never forget. He stepped forward, hands raised. "We didn't know," he said. "We didn't understand." For a second, nothing happened. Then the ground snapped to life. Roots shot up and wrapped around his legs, his torso. He screamed as they tightened, pulling him down. I tried to grab him, but it stepped between us, blocking me, watching. Eben reached out. "Go!" he choked. "Run!" The ground took him, slowly, until he was gone. I ran again, but this time I didn't stop. I didn't look back. The forest felt alive around me, closing in, pushing me forward. The sounds followed, not chasing, guiding, until suddenly, light. Real light. I stumbled out onto a dirt road and collapsed. When I looked back, the forest was still silent, normal, like nothing had happened. They never found Dylan or Eben. They called it an accident. said we got lost, that things happen in places like that. I led them to believe that. Because how do you explain something like that? How do you tell people the forest takes people? But here's the thing, it didn't end there. A few weeks later, I found something in my jacket pocket. I know I didn't put it there. A single mushroom, bruised, darkened, and growing. I didn't go near forests anymore, ever. I don't hike, I don't camp, but sometimes late at night I hear it again. That very specific sound, layered, that impossible voice. And I can't shake that feeling that something followed me out there to hear. Is it guilt? I would never know. Because I don't think the Otang was just protecting the forest. I think it was protecting something inside it. Something alive, something hungry, and I think it knows I got away. If you ever find yourself in a place like that and you feel like you're being watched, you probably are. So don't take anything. Don't touch anything. And whatever you do, don't ever go off of the trail.